Hi again, I am Kayla, and welcome back to part 2 of this second module on creating an unaffiliated event from scratch. This training video module is about how to set up, from scratch, an unaffiliated event in Equus Organizer, with the appropriate classes for people to enter, including the entry fees and any additional mandatory charges that you want to charge for. In the first section, we saw how there are 3 steps to creating the event, and we went through in detail step 1, which is how to create the event framework, and now we need to add in the classes and finally get the event published onto your website and open to start taking online entries. So now the complete event framework is set up, you can move on to setting up step 2, which is to create the classes. The first thing to do is to go back to the event framework you have created in the events grid and click on the event that you want to add the classes to. Select from the Insights page the View Classes box. And the screen will be blank like this. Now click on the green New Class button on the top right of the screen. It will take you to another form to fill in like this. Start filling in the form by first giving the class a number, and then a class name that describes what is involved for this class, for example, Open Clear Round. The event is a show jumping event, so the class event will automatically display the same. There is a class type to select, in this case, single phase from the drop-down menu. The date will also be automatically input as the first date in a multi-day show, which you can change as required if the class is going to run on a separate day. Once again, there is the possibility of limiting the number of entries that you want in each class, and the default of 0 infers there will be no limit required. On the right top of the screen, the class status will be set as planned but can be changed as required. The arena that the class will be run in needs to be selected from the drop-down menu. Leave the affiliated button blank and not ticked, as this is an unaffiliated competition. Now tick the Drawn Order button, indicating that an order will be drawn by the system. Tick any of the other boxes, Split Class, Handicap and Qualifier, if they are appropriate, and also tick the Results Published box if you want the results to appear on your website as soon as the class is completed. You can alternatively publish the results later when you are happy that they are correct, or indeed when the entire event has completed. Leave the Ignore Cat 2 rules box, and I will also return to the specifics on how to create a split class later in this video. Ignore combined results for now, as this will be discussed when we return to focus on split classes. Halfway down the form, enter the standard entry fee that each competitor will pay, plus a discounted members fee if appropriate, and a late entry fee for both standard and members if required. Ignore the multi-day discount and second purchase costs for standard and members, as this is used specifically for stabling entries only. The next section allows you to add in any prize money that you may plan to offer, and it is okay just to leave this blank if there are no prize monies to be paid. The next task is to input the approximate start time for the class or the earliest time that you want any of the classes to begin. You need to tick the box in the earliest start time section and either put the time in digits or use the clock simulation to select the correct time. The optional configuration section can be left blank or configured as required, as too can the last section for team configuration, as there is a totally separate training video module on configuring team events. When you have completed the form, click on the Save button at the top right to save your changes. So now you have created the first class, and you want to create a second class, but this time to run as a split class where you can jump both the sections, horses and ponies, at the same time, but you want to create a separate result for each section. To do this, you need to configure the class as a split class, and this is how you do it. In the interests of saving time, I have already created the bulk of the split class you will need to create. It is largely as before, but this time you need to tick the split box. Leave everything else unchanged and then save the class. You will see the second class shown again in the class grid, and this time you will need to go to the right-hand side of the screen and select the blue Options button for that class. In the drop-down menu, click on the Split option. The system will display a pop-up box of the class details like this, which will allow you to change the class number to Class 2A, and also allow you to edit the New Class Name to Horse section from Pony section. Also delete the copy text so the class name looks correct. Save this change and the system will display a duplicate Class 2 with the new details inserted, which again, when you are happy, you can save to keep the changes you have made. Class 2 will now be shown in the class grid as a split class with two sections, Class 2 for ponies and Class 2A for horses. This will tell the onboard judging to provide two results for the class, one for each section. If you only want to create two results if you have a specific number of entries, then you click on the parent class configuration, in this case Class 2, and change the configuration like this by putting in the combined result limit box the minimum number of entries that you need to receive before the class will be judged with two results. When you have completed the form, click on the Save button at the top right to save your changes. And there you are. The class has been set up as a split class to provide two results. So you have now completed step 2 and can move on to the final stage and publish the event on to your website. And finally, when you have added in all of the classes that you want to run for the event, you can now move on to step 3 and publish the completed event onto your website and get ready to begin taking entries online. To do this, you first need to publish the event, and this is done by clicking on the event grid on the specific event that you want to publish. Go to the Configuration tab for the event and scroll down to the event status. Change the event status from planned to published and save the change by clicking on the Save button on the top right of the screen. The system will take you back to the event grid, so click again on the event and this time select View Classes from the Insights page. You will be able to see all of the classes that you have created for the event, and you need to click on the button at the top of the right-hand side called Bulk Actions. Select the first option, Open All Classes, and you will see the class status for all the classes will revert to opened. If you go directly to your website, now you will see that the event has been published through the widgets on the website and that you can enter any of the classes simply by selecting Enter Event. The event and classes are now open to entries. And so, to wrap up this second part of the video module for creating an unaffiliated event from scratch, you will have seen that there are 3 individual steps to setting the system up to work the way you want it to. Step 1. Create the unaffiliated event overall framework. Step 2. Create and format the individual classes and configure them for entry fees, prize money, duration and times. Step 3. Publish the finished event onto your website and open the event and classes to begin taking entries. That's all from me for now. Thank you again for your time watching this video, but remember, you can always call Equus Innovation to get direct support at any time on the number shown here and select Support. Good luck! And see you again very soon.